Hey folks, Sam Luce here with Boris FX. We're continuing taking a look at Samplitude, getting the most out of Samplitude, setting things up in the right way, and working a way that is going to be conducive to your music, your audio, getting the most out of it. Here I want to take a look at your device setup and making sure that your audio device is set up properly. Your MIDI device, you'll see I've got a MIDI keyboard set up over here, which means only one thing. We're going to be getting some audio into Samplitude. We're going to be getting some MIDI data into Samplitude as well. And we need to do things in the right way. So let's check that out now. So first off, you'll see that I've got an audio channel within Samplitude here. Now, if you're not kind of up on how to actually start Samplitude and how to get an audio channel in there, make sure you check out the previous video that I did. The difference here is that I've got this set as a mono channel. Now, the difference being typically you will get set up with a stereo channel, so you have a left and a right. With this one, I just want it to be a mono channel. So the way that I can do that is I go over to the left-hand side here, and at the moment it says number 1. So it's recording on input number 1 from my audio interface. If I go down to the bottom here and click to stereo, then it will go to 1 and 2. So it would record 2 channels. I'm just going to be on mono though. We need to tell Samplitude exactly where to get this audio from. So I've already got mine set up, but I'm going to show you exactly how to set up your audio device so Samplitude knows exactly where to get that audio from. If we go up to File and Program Preferences, then System Options and Audio, or we can press Y on the keyboard for a shortcut. This is where we're going to see all of our device information. So you'll see on audio setup and audio devices, these are the places we're looking for getting audio in and out of Samplitude. Audio setup, you'll see I've got my USB audio interface selected here. If you want to select a different audio interface, you can select it here and choose from the drop-down menu. Audio devices, this is going to essentially tell me all the inputs and outputs that are available within my interface. Now, my interface has a number of inputs and outputs. Yours may only have 1 input, 2 outputs, 4 inputs, 4 outputs, whatever it is, they're going to be displayed here. And you can select which inputs you want on the channel when you get to the channel basis, but this is just displaying absolutely everything that's there. Now with digital audio, it comes in at a specific sample rate and bit depth, which may be terms that you've heard before. We're not going to get too deep into this for now, but just to know that you can set those in your audio setup. At the moment, we're working at 44.1. And we're working at a bit depth of 24-bit. This is kind of like the resolution. Some people draw this analogy of a picture and the amount of pixels you have in a picture as being similar to sample rate and bit depth. It's not exactly like that, but it's a good kind of familiar way of thinking of it. It's kind of like the resolution. And we also have our buffer size. Now, a buffer size at the moment is set to 512, and that's in samples. Essentially what a buffer size is this is the thing that's going to make your computer work hard or not very hard, or make you hear a delay or not make you hear a delay. Essentially, if we have the buffer size set really small, say 32 samples, our computer's going to be working quite hard to actually replay that audio. The audio comes in and then comes back out at us at a delay of 32 samples. Now, 32 samples is very, very short, so not really anything to worry about. Once you get up to in the thousands, so maybe 1,024 samples, you're potentially going to hear a difference there. It's going to be easier on your computer, but you're going to hear a little bit of a delay. That's just a real kind of broad stroke way of thinking of buffer size. It's the amount of time it takes your computer to digest the audio and throw it back out at you. Input comes in, it thinks about it, and it sends it back to you. Keeping that as low as possible is going to mean we don't have too much latency. Latency is a term you may have heard of, and it's when you have a delay between the input and the output. It sounds like a kind of an echo coming back at you. If you're experiencing that problem, then reduce your buffer size and that problem is most likely going to go away. So I've got my audio device set up. I've got my USB audio interface set to input. Over on my track on the left-hand side, I'm set to input number 1, which is where this microphone is plugged into. So if I hit the record button up the top, the record arm button, we're going to see some signal coming in. Now at the moment we're hitting kind of coming up to -10. We can see that's a pretty healthy level. If I increase the gain on my preamp, you can see that's going to come up a little bit higher. And if I bring it down, I won't bring it down too much, but you'll see that it's coming down a little bit below that. I tend to kind of sit around this -10, -12 area. It's a good safe area to hit. Nothing's going to be clipping, even if you speak really loud, and anything that's really quiet is not going to kind of fall into the noise floor. So that's a really nice kind of level to be at. And if we want to record audio in, we know that we are monitoring this. So we've got audio coming in. I can just hit record and it's going to start recording at the spot that the cursor was at. We can see the audio coming in here. Nice healthy level. If I press stop, then we can just check that the recording was okay and that we like it. If it is okay, let's hit yes. If we don't like it, hit delete and start again. I think that looks pretty good for now. So I've got my audio loaded in here. So recording audio is really simple in Samplitude. Make sure your device is set up correctly. Check the input. Make sure you've got the input that your microphone is connected into, or it could be an instrument. Maybe your guitar's plugged in, your keyboard, whatever it is. Make sure it's selected on the left-hand side over here under audio, and you're away. But what about if we want to record some MIDI information in? Well, that's where things get a little bit different because we can't record that MIDI information onto an audio track. So I'm just going to take record arm on this track off so that we're not seeing my audio go up and down all the time. We're going to create a new MIDI track. Now I'm going to go to track, insert new tracks, and then instead of going to an audio track where we might do if we're recording audio in, I'm going to go to MIDI track. And that's going to appear down the bottom here. So what I'd like to do here is just load up a MIDI instrument of some kind and make sure that we can see some MIDI input because we may not have our MIDI device set up correctly. I'm going to go to add a plugin. I'm going to go to the Boris FX stock instruments. Let's go to DNE1 and we've just got a synthesizer there. So if I hit some keys on my keyboard, we can see that we've got some input there. Now I've not got the audio coming back at us just to make things easier, but we can see when I hit some keys on there, we've got input. But what about if you hit the keys and you don't have input? Well, you need to go to your MIDI setup. So same as we had before, we go to File, then to Program Preferences, System Options, or we can hit Y for a shortcut. And instead of being in Audio Setup, Audio Devices, go to MIDI. And here we can see my MIDI input. This is my keyboard that I've got selected. If I hit some keys, you'll see that input. If I uncheck that box and go to OK and hit some keys, we're seeing nothing because the MIDI device is not selected. Let's go back into Preferences. I'm going to hit the shortcut of Y, go to MIDI, check that box, hit OK, play some keys, and all is well again. I've got MIDI input. So two different types of tracks that we can bring into Samplitude. We've shown how we can record some audio into Samplitude, whether that be a microphone, whether it be a guitar, a keyboard, whatever it is. And we can also record some MIDI information in. And we can, in the same way, record that information. If I hit record and then hit record down on the transport, I'm going to record some MIDI information here. And you can see my MIDI notes starting to populate the region. If that recording's okay, I can just hit yes. If we don't want to see this dialog appear, we can just go, don't show this message again, and it will just kind of assume that all the recordings we do are A-okay. And we've got some MIDI information there that we can play back, and we know we've got something in there. Now, when we're setting up a session, it's so important to have everything stored in the same place. I kind of covered this in the first chapter, but I think it's worth saying again. When we're creating a session, we always need to have everything in one place, in one folder. So when we go to File, New Virtual Project, what we want to do is actually put that in its own subdirectory. So we want to put this on the desktop, for example. You may put it on an external hard drive, and we want to make sure that this is creating a new project subdirectory. That means that everything I create and goes into this project is going to go into that one folder. You don't want to have loads of audio files going to other places. When you import stuff, you don't actually bring them into the right place. You end up with audio files all over the place. It's bad practice. It's bad file management. You want to make sure that you always have the project set up to one folder, create a new project subdirectory, and everything's going to go in the right place. You can also select your sample rate before you even go into the session. So we're at 44.1 here. In Samplitude, we can go up to some really, really high sample rates, which are going to be good for other things. Typically, we work at 44.1, or if we're working with something which may go to video, then 48 kilohertz is also a good choice. Really, those two are kind of the ones that we work at and are relatively interchangeable in a lot of scenarios. If you know your stuff is going to go to video, video and you're going to work alongside video, 48 is maybe a good choice, or 44.1 for standard CD quality audio is also fine. So now that's everything you need to know to get started. Recording audio into Samplitude, recording MIDI into Samplitude, working out your devices, working out your settings, your sample rate, your buffer size, your bit depth, and making the whole session just work smoothly. If there's anything you desperately want to know about Samplitude, getting set up, those real early basic stages that you feel like people have just skidded over in the past, please let us know in the comments and we'll make sure to include them in a video so you can get the most out of your Samplitude sessions. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you again soon. Take care.